Have you ever wondered what really stops the stock market from just being a totally rigged game? Turns out there's this kind of invisible rulebook working behind the scenes to keep things on the level. It's called the Market Abuse Regulation, or MAR for short, and today we're going to break down exactly how it works. I mean, just imagine it for a second. It'd be like sitting down for a poker game, only to realize some of the other players have already seen your hand before you've even played it. That's exactly the kind of situation these regulations are designed to stop. Because if there's no level playing field, the entire financial system starts to lose the one thing it can't survive without: trust. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the threats, the actual dangers to a fair market. Then we'll get into MAR, the rulebook itself. After that, we'll meet the digital detectives who are out there enforcing these rules. And finally, we'll talk about the big payoff, why all of this leads to market integrity. Okay, so first up, let's dive into the problem itself. How exactly can this game be rigged? What are we even trying to stop here? It all comes down to this one term: market abuse. And look, this isn't just about bending the rules a little bit. It's about fundamentally breaking the trust that the whole system is built on. To put it simply, it's any action that's designed to give someone an unfair, unearned advantage over everyone else. So there are really three main ways people try to cheat. First, you've got insider dealing. Think of a CEO who knows his company is about to announce a massive new product, so he buys up a ton of stock right before the news goes public. That's a classic. Second, there's unlawful disclosure. Now, imagine that same CEO doesn't buy the stock himself, but he, tells a friend about the product early. That's leaking secret info. And third, you have market manipulation. This is some next-level stuff. It's like spreading false rumors online to either pump up a stock's price or make it crash, tricking other people into making bad trades. Okay, so with all those ways to cheat on the table, it's time to meet the referee. Let's talk about the Market Abuse Regulation, or MAR. So what is it? Well, MAR is basically the European Union's unified game plan to fight back against all that cheating. It's not just one rule, it's a whole framework. And it has three really clear jobs. First, to prevent these abuses before they even happen. Second, to detect them when they do. And third, to punish the people who break the rules. But, at the end of the day, this isn't really just about punishing people. The real goal, the big picture, is to build a market that everyone can actually trust. A market that's built on a foundation of transparency and clear, consistent rules for everybody. So that all sounds great in theory, but how does it work in practice? I mean, enforcing these rules isn't about a bunch of people in suits staring at stock tickers anymore. Oh no, it's all about technology. Just think about the scale of this for a second. We're talking about a global market with billions of orders and transactions flying around every single day. How could any team of humans possibly keep an eye on all of that? The short answer is they can't, not without some serious help. The solution is this really sophisticated three-step process, all powered by some pretty incredible IT systems. So first, these systems just drink in everything: every order, every trade, every cancellation, all of it. Second, incredibly powerful algorithms scan all that data, hunting for suspicious patterns. And third, if the system finds something that looks a little off, it generates an alert and kicks it over to a human compliance officer to investigate. And a scale we're talking about here is almost impossible to wrap your head around. This isn't gigabytes or even terabytes. These systems are chewing through petabytes of data. That's millions of gigabytes, flowing in a constant, nonstop stream. And on top of all that volume, everything has to happen with unbelievable precision. Every single action has to be time-stamped right down to the millisecond. In a world where trades can happen in literally the blink of an eye, a single millisecond can be the difference between a perfectly legal trade and straight-up market manipulation. And transaction monitoring is just one of the tools in the kit. These digital detectives also use things like insider lists to keep a close watch on who knows sensitive information and when they knew it. They build what are called digital Chinese walls, which are these really strict information barriers to stop leaks between departments. And they manage secure reporting systems to make sure that huge company news gets released to everybody at the exact same time. And the stakes for getting any of this wrong? They are enormous. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist here. As the sources say, regulators are imposing massive financial penalties, often in the millions, for any firms that fail to keep up. So after all this complexity, all this data, all this technology, what's the big payoff? Why does this whole complicated system matter so much to all of us?
Well, the impact is a really clear shift from a potentially rigged game to a level playing field. Before MAR, it was possible for a few insiders to have a huge unfair advantage. They could distort prices, and that just killed confidence. But after MAR, the goal is equal access to information for everybody. That gives us confidence that the prices we see are real and fair, which leads to better protection for investors and, there's that word again, trust. So, if there's one crucial point to take away from all this, it's this. MAR isn't just some legal document collecting dust on a shelf. It's a living, breathing legal obligation that is brought to life by technology. In today's financial world, IT isn't just supporting the business anymore. It is the bedrock of market trust.
But all of this leaves us with one critical question for the future. As trading algorithms get faster and AI gets smarter, the game is constantly changing. The ways to cheat are getting more and more sophisticated, which means the digital detectives have to get more sophisticated too. It's this constant high-stakes race, and the integrity of our entire financial system really depends on who stays one step ahead.